Hello, Pisces. You were first on my mind today, so I am going to do a quick love reading for you, tuning into the energies for July 2025. So the first thing is an inquiry card and your card. Fascinating. What needs to change? I love that. What needs to change? All right, so let us get into it. I have a couple decks here. So let's just see what comes through for love. Let's take your situation, take a little looky-loo, and dive into it. Get some clarity, some insights, and look at the sitch and figure out what needs to change. I love that though. I always it takes a while. Woo, we have a jumper. We have a jumper. All right, hang on. Woo. So we have the Two of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay. So perhaps you were juggling two suitors in the past, or even perhaps being stuck on a past suitor. Then we have the Nine of Cups. Interesting. And then the Five of Cups. Really interesting here. Oh, wow. Okay, Pisces. Um, so with this juggling sense that I'm getting of perhaps two suitors or perhaps a not being able to let go of a past partner or even perhaps comparing somebody new to an ex. And here's my 2 cents on that. That can be a very unhealthy route to take. And oftentimes, subconsciously, we make the new partner pay for the sins of the last partner. And that's definitely not what we want to do, right? Not if we want a clean, fresh start. Nine of Cups, interesting. It feels like uh you're almost to the end there. So you're like in the last phase of a cycle here. And it feels like definitely with cups has to do with love. And then the Five of Cups, I my instinct is telling me that you may still be hung up on a previous partner. And here's the thing, we've all been there. I hear you. I see you. Um, so perhaps this is an opportunity to then what needs to be released? Like, what's the last little thing? So 10 is the end of a cycle, 9, you're almost there. You're in the home stretch, like the end is in sight. So, what is the last little piece, the last thread that needs to shift, transform, that you need to let go of so that your heart is open to new love? And I feel like if you already don't know this new love, that they're right around the corner. Because there's the balancing. So interesting. All right, let's see. There's any other clarity for the 2, the 9, and the 8. Interesting. So we get another 9. It's another pentacle. Um, and and then the 8 of Pentacles. So we got two more pentacles to clarify, another pentacle. And what's interesting is the 8 comes after the 9. And to me, yeah, that once again, you should be going in succession, and it's not that you're taking a step back. With the 8, it's almost like there's a pause. And so this pause could be taking time to reflect on um the past. And whatever that past person was, I almost feel like this might even be somebody that you were married to, or because the pentacles are often worldly possessions. So perhaps there is some bits where you still need to tidy up, maybe with possessions or things along those lines. But that's what I'm getting. But let's look into what else could be blocking you for this completely, we'll say, jumping in to this, the new love that I sense is there. Um, but there's got to be, like I said, a little release yet. And that's totally cool. Oops, I pulled two. Ah, ah, ah. Ooh. So we have the Five of Wands. Interesting. So there is a challenge, and wands can be very passionate. So, and then you have the Eight of Cups, which to me, once again, you have the Eight of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups. And like I said, to me, those are always kind of like reflection cards. And oftentimes the Eight of Cups can signal like a walking away. So perhaps going back to the original card of what needs to change is maybe a lot of times I think we are afraid to walk away, but everything is cyclical, right? When there is one cycle that ends, it means that there's a new beginning. And so it feels like there has to be this last bits of letting go. Um, and I get it. It can be challenging. And so it's cranking up that courage dial and honoring and blessing the previous relationship for what it was and what you learned from it, right? It's knowing that you're in a different space now so you can make different decisions. You have better discernment than perhaps when your story with this previous person started. Okay, let's see. Is there any other advice here for my beautiful Pisceans? Um, if there's any, what's the best, we'll say, energy to support you in this process? Woo, we got a jumper there. Ooh, have faith. I love that. So we have faith, and it says, it's not always easy to have faith and trust that everything is going to be okay. Yet you still must do exactly that. Because when you have faith, your life will begin to flow in magical ways that you never imagined were possible. And I think that just pairs perfectly. A lot of times when we are afraid to let go and love, it's because there's this old seated belief that, well, we're never going to find a love. And we can tend to idealize a previous love, even if it didn't serve us. The contract is over. We can still tend to idealize that and think, oh, well, I'm never going to find love again, or never find like that, or that passion. And that's so not true. So, let's see if there's any other words of wisdom. Um, give, interesting. So it says one of the best feelings we can experience is giving to others. When we do so, we feel lifted up and our lives improve greatly because of someone else's happiness. Think of one way you can give to another today. Um, and while I absolutely love that, sometimes breaking out of your rut, and it doesn't have to be anything big. To me, that could just be giving a compliment to somebody. Um, Sidebar story, I forget, I ran an errand yesterday, or not yesterday, the other day, and I gave someone, and I meant it. It was just, oh, I gave them a compliment, and the person just lit up. And it's something that's so small, and I'm sure they could feel the sincerity, and it was, just something minor, but of course, being the person that I am, I could tell that they were a little down. Um, and just to for them to have that moment of being seen meant the world. And once again, it's not even that it was about me, but it was about I was aware, and I was like, if there's some small way I can be of service, rock and roll. So whoever needed to hear that story, amazing. All right. And I'm going to pull an angel card message. Um and honestly, I keep hearing there's nothing to fear. So I think we build a lot of things up in our own mind. And once again, a lot of that is just social conditioning, and it doesn't serve us. So if you're ready to let that go, let this be the month that you shift that, transform that, in whichever way resonates with you. Maybe you do a burning ceremony, give it over to a higher power, invite in your angels, guides, whoever to help you. It just it's you deserve love, and you deserve to receive the love that you want. All right. And so any final messages? Aw. So the angel number is 1221, and optimism, joy, communication, messages, good news, expression, high vibes. How perfect is that? It says, work with what you have and it will get you places. Count your blessings. I just said that, right? Bless your relationship for what it was, what you learned, and acknowledge your dear ones. So finding small ways to give gratitude, right, for all the things in your life, and just start small. Once again, it's those little everyday things that build up, and it's those daily practices that mean so much more sometimes than big things. And I love this. And the last one says you might also be getting some good news soon. Who couldn't use some good news, right? All right. That feels really, really good. And yeah, what what needs to change? What can you let go of so you could be super clear on this beautiful new love journey? All right. Hope this resonated. Let me know in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up, click subscribe, share with your friends. Help spread the love vibes around the world. Have a beautiful month, Pisces. And until next time, more love vibes to come. Ciao.